It is January 27th, year 2026, and the global economy is grinding to a terrifying and unprecedented halt. If you have tried to buy high-end electronics this month, or if you have walked through the aisles of your local pharmacy, you know something is wrong. The shelves are thinning out, orders are being delayed indefinitely, and the price of basic necessities has jumped again since Christmas. The mainstream financial news is desperately trying to keep you calm, telling you that this is just another temporary supply chain hiccup. They blame regional conflicts in the Red Sea or unexpected weather patterns for the disruption of global trade. They tell you that the central banks have the tools to fix this and that a soft landing is still the base case scenario. But as always here on Hidden Logic, we are looking at the data that they are conveniently ignoring to keep the public asleep. What we are witnessing right now is not a glitch, and it is not an accident of geography or weather. It is the beginning of the greatest financial reset in human history, and we call it the Great Freeze of 2026. This is a deliberate, calculated, and highly coordinated economic war that has been launched against the Western financial system. To understand why this is happening now, you must realize the fundamental deal that has held the world together for 50 years. Since the 1970s, the United States and Europe have printed trillions of dollars and euros backed by nothing but debt. We sent this paper money to the factories of Asia and the resource-rich nations of the global South. In exchange, they sent us real things like televisions, cars, oil, copper, and rare earth minerals. It was the greatest deal in the history of empires. We got the goods and they got the inflation. But the hidden logic of this arrangement was that the producing nations had to believe that the paper money was worth something. In late 2025, that belief finally evaporated. The producing nations, led by the expanded BRICS alliance, silently agreed that they would no longer trade finite resources for infinite paper. They realized that holding U.S. Treasury bonds was a losing game because the inflation in the West was eating away their value. So they built what economists are now whispering about in private channels, a commodity wall. Look at the trade data from the last 90 days, which the media has barely covered because it is too frightening. China has dumped a record amount of U.S. debt, while simultaneously buying record amounts of physical gold and copper. Saudi Arabia and the UAE have officially started accepting local currencies for oil shipments, effectively ending the monopoly of the petrodollar. But the most dangerous part is the physical slowdown of shipping that we are seeing right now in January. You are told that the Suez Canal is blocked by security threats, but the reality is far more passive-aggressive. Major export terminals in the East are reporting maintenance issues and customs delays that are holding back millions of containers. This is a silent strike where the producers are simply refusing to ship goods until they are paid in a store of value that they trust. They are choking the Western economies up with an embargo, with a bureaucratic freeze that looks like incompetence, it acts like a siege. The hidden logic is simple. If you want our hard assets, you must pay us in hard assets, not in promises. This brings us to the terrifying reality of stagflation, which is now the dominant force in the American and European economies. Stagflation is the economic cancer where prices rise uncontrollably while the economy shrinks and unemployment rises. The central banks are trapped in a room with no exits, and the walls are closing in fast. If they raise interest rates to fight this inflation, they will crash the housing market and bankrupt a government which cannot afford the interest on its debt. But if they print more money to stimulate the economy, it will trigger hyperinflation and the currency will lose all credibility. This is the checkmate position that the East has engineered over the last decade, while we were distracted by political circus. I want to pause here because this crisis is not just happening on graphs, it is happening in your neighborhood, and I need your data. The official inflation numbers are manipulated, but your wallet knows the truth about what is happening on the ground. Are you seeing empty shelves or massive price hikes in your local area right now in January 2026? Go to the comments section and tell me where you are from and what specific item has become impossible to find or too expensive to buy. Type your location and the item below because we are building a real map of this crisis that the news won't show. And the feedback loop of this crisis is creating a psychology of scarcity that we have not seen since the 1940s. When people realize that goods are not being restocked, they begin to panic, by which empties the shelves even faster. This hoarding behavior is rational for the individual, but it is catastrophic for the system, accelerating the freeze. We are seeing the rise of gray markets, where essential goods are sold for cash or barter outside of the official tax system. This is the death of the consumer economy, as we know it, where abundance was taken for granted. So what is the ultimate objective of this great freeze? Why are the BRICS nations pushing the West to the brink of collapse? They are forcing a reset of the global monetary system to revalue gold and commodities against fiat currencies. They want a seat at the table to redesign the financial architecture of the 21st century. They know that the West will eventually have to capitulate and accept a new settlement mechanism that is not controlled by Washington. That the transition period, the freeze we are in right now, is going to be painful and chaotic for the average citizen. The era of cheap money, cheap energy, and cheap goods is officially over as of this month. We are entering a period of hard assets and hard realities, where financialization can no longer hide the lack of production. This connects directly to the series we are about to begin regarding the banking cartel. Because when the current money system dies, the people who control it will not just give up power and walk away. They are already preparing the solution to the crisis they helped create. As the cash economy crumbles and inflation destroys the dollar, they will offer a new savior. They will introduce the central bank digital currency, or CBDC. It's the only way to stabilize prices and ensure fair distribution of goods. They will say that because of the hoarders and the supply shocks, we need a digital rationing system. The Great Freeze is the perfect crisis to justify the introduction of the digital prison. They will tell you that the old money is broken, so you must trade it in for the new programmed money. This is why understanding the history of the banking cartel is not just a history lesson, it is a survival guide for what is coming next. The men who met on Jekyll Island in 1910 established a system that is now collapsing. And their descendants are the ones writing the code for the system that will replace it. Do not be distracted by the political noise or the celebrity gossip that fills your feed. Focus on the physical reality of the supply chain and the silent war being fought for the value of your labor. The freeze is just the beginning of the thought that will reveal a completely different world order underneath. In our next video, we will go back to the beginning of this conspiracy to understand the men behind the curtain. We will start our deep dive into the banking cartel to show you how they engineered the boom and how they are engineering the bust. Subscribe now and turn on notifications because the timeline is accelerating and you need to be prepared. See you in the next analysis, where we name the names and expose the architects of this collapse.